From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Charlie, it's great to be here with you. Appreciate you doing this interview.
Likewise, Alex. Thank you.
Why, after 3 years of silence concerning 9/11, are you now speaking up? And why have you written this public letter that you've now published?
Well, Alex, I wrote this letter for two reasons. Firstly, I wanted to create a public document specifically rooted in fact. If anybody dares question that, I would encourage those people to scrutinize it, to research it. The truth is unchanging, Alex, as we both know. The only aspect of this piece that had to be manufactured were the president's words. Everything else will withstand the critical assault I'm more than prepared to endure. And secondly, this is our first new president since 9/11, and consequently his first 9/11 anniversary in office. Enough stonewalling, enough media manipulation, enough media mantra speak. The families deserve better, Alex. America deserves better. I mean, come on. Come on, people. The 9/11 Commission report is a blatant work of manipulation, secrecy, and fiction. Come on, the time is now. Demand the truth. I personally cannot stand idly by any longer and pretend like a new investigation is just going to fall out of the heavens right into our Congress. We have to take action. We have to stand as one. We must insist that our new president deliver on his promises.
All right, that's Charlie Sheen from my taped interview with him. In 20 minutes, he's going to be live with us here on air. We're going to have Bob up for a full hour next week because I really want to get into the economy with him. We've got this Limbaugh clip of him talking about it today. It's kind of hammered audio, but we're going to play it in about 10 minutes when Bob leaves us. But again, 33 after, bottom of this hour, we're going to go to Charlie Sheen live here on air. Bob, I want to get your comments on what Charlie and I are doing and the American people and people of the world are doing right now, kind of our psyop against the globalist. But before we do that, finishing up, clearly, then, do you believe they're deciding to abandon the dollar? The Chinese are saying they may abandon the dollar. What is happening right now? Why has gold shot up to above 1,013 today?
Flight to quality. Yes, they are afraid of the abandoning of the dollar because people don't see much, if any, inflation at all. So that can be the only reason why it's up. And I think, as I said before, down the line, and I don't know how far, 6 months, 2.5 years, I don't know. I do know that they are going to devalue the dollar officially, and they're going to default simultaneously at some meeting like the Smithsonian they had in the early 70s or the Plaza Accord they had in 85 in Paris, and there's going to be revaluation and devaluations, currency against currency, and I think there's going to be a debt default of perhaps two-thirds of debt of all of those who are in debt to clean the whole mess up. And at the same time, I think what they want to do, what they should do for international trade is a 20-nation international unit made up of all those currencies, plus a 10% balance of gold within that unit. And then it'll be perfectly acceptable for trade.
Now, Bob, let's explain. People are going to spin this saying Bob Chapman's, with a straw man argument, Bob Chapman's calling for global currency. No, they're killing the dollar. They've hoarded out. They've maxed it out. They've run up our credit cards, our national credit card, to 1.5 quadrillion, according to many economists. And so now they want to have a new global tyrannical currency. You're saying for global trade, there will be a world reserve currency. Let's make sure it's a free and fair one. So you're talking real world ball game here, not fantasy land.
And then second of all, they'll come along later, how much later I don't know, and they'll say, well, gee, that worked really well. Now let's have a world currency. That's how I think they're going to slide into it. And I've been saying this for months, as you well know.
And 3 months ago, you said that they would announce that Madoff had cancer, and now they've floated that out there. How did you know that was going to happen?
I had some information from other people, but I backed into it as well. The next thing is he'll have a heart attack, supposedly be taken out and buried, and probably end up at the hands of the plastic surgeon so he can go and live in Israel or Paraguay or wherever they're going to put him.
Well, ChangeLA, I mean, we know that was staged. That's even come out in foreign news.
That's right. And then we have the young man, Timothy McVeigh, who supposedly was executed. I have my doubts about that as well.
Well, local reporters said he was breathing when they took him out.
Well, there you go. And I think they take these people to other destinations, and they live happily ever after.
Now, when you were working in black ops against the Soviets, I mean, I've read even 50 years ago, they took large portions of special forces and would even stage their deaths or change their names, give them plastic surgery, change their ears, their nose. That's declassified. So why wouldn't they do that with Madoff or ChangeLA? I mean, that's what they do in the witness protection program. They stage the deaths a lot.
That's right. And so I think that's the way this has gone. They take care of their own. That's the way they do it. If you step out of line, you get assassinated. But, this program you've got coming up on Charlie Sheen, I knew Charlie when he lived in Malibu, and I'm very happy to see he has attained the intellectual abilities that he has. My kids grew up at the same time he did, and I knew his father quite well, Martin, because I used to go to church with him all the time. And so I'm very happy to see Charlie come out, and he was always a gutsy kid, always a little wild, and a great baseball player.
Amazing. Well, I'll say hi to him when he's on with us. So much is going on. Obviously, you say get gold, get silver to protect yourself. Ted Anderson was on earlier offering gold coins he bought at $9.45 in the market, in the current market, and silver $1 under what it is. Is that not an insanely good deal, Bob?
It certainly is, and he continues to come up with these good investment deals, and we all should be proud of him. Sure, he's making money, but he's giving people great deals, and he should be thanked for that.
Absolutely, and supporting this network. Folks can call about that deal at 800-686-2237, 800-686-2237. You can get a free copy of Bob's twice-weekly online excellent, thick newsletter by going to theinternationalforecaster.com. Get a free sample of that, theinternationalforecaster.com. We routinely post links to it and excerpts of it. Also, Bob, I always catch you unawares here. Give folks the toll-free number if people want to call and get a hard copy, a free introductory hard copy of The International Forecaster.
That's toll-free, 877-479-8178. That's 877-479-8178.
All right, we got about 2 or 3 minutes left here, Bob. In closing, what do you see happening in the fall?
I see terrible things with the dollar going down to 71.18 on the USDX. I see great consternation and turmoil over the swine flu shots. The government, as you know, has been experimenting on our military people, and a lot of them gotten pretty sick. I think October is going to be a giant, horrible month, and I think the stock market will start back down again, too. And a lot of what Obama is doing on television is generated in the direction of calming people for the storm that they see coming ahead. His next speech is going to be about the economy. The economy is in dreadful shape, and it might, go sideways for the next year. But if they don't add another $2 trillion or the banks don't start lending, it's over. So that's what they're going to do. You're going to see, and I predicted this last January, you're going to see them come up with another stimulus plan next year to make sure all these Democrats get back in office. Or I shouldn't say it that way. I should say everybody who's in office gets back in. That's what it's all about. And so I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, you're absolutely on target over and over again, Bob. We'll continue to watch this unfold. I think it's key that as the globalists implode the economy by design, we continue to say, audit the Fed. These are the people that engineered the collapse. These are the individuals creating a global Ponzi scheme that they want to panic us into the next phase of accepting world government. No, we must indict the bankers, as Ron Paul has said on the show. We must go after the globalists. We must bring them to justice and just start identifying the shadow government and the deep state and the private offshore corporate criminal networks that are engaged in a global corporate takeover known as the New World Order. And if we just continue to hammer that in and get the word out, over 75% of Americans in a Gallup poll want to audit or abolish the Fed or both. So we're beginning to have more and more victories, and people that wouldn't listen to us 10, 20, 30 years ago, 45 years ago when you first got started, they're now listening now. And it's all because of people like you, Bob Chapman, and all the fighters out there. So everything you do, folks, is part of this incremental battle. Many hands make light work. Bob Chapman, thank you so much for spending time with us. I want to do a full hour with you next week. Can you do that?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me again. And we are winning. We've got them on the run, and gold over 1,000 is a good example.
Absolutely. God bless you, Bob Chapman.